Hi guys, and welcome to Retrobate. Guys, today's episode is one that has been a very long time in the waiting. Yeah, you know what time it is. It is Hit Squad time. And wow, have I got some crackers to show you. So, a few eBay purchases have happened recently. And yeah, I'm just going to dive straight in and show you some of the ones that I'm so happy to be adding to the collection. I did not think that I'd be adding any more to the collection this year. So for me, this is just a real bonus. I'm going to start off with a bundle that I bought. Now, the bundle that I bought was to get one game. The rest of these games will be available on the Hit Squad Collectors Facebook group. And in turn, what doesn't sell there will be on the swap shop on Sunday, which is the Halloween Swapshop. So really looking forward to that. Alongside me good friend Lee and Scott. The Polterguys are on there. We've got Alex Arcade, Nintendo Arcade. Guys, it's going to be an absolute cracker. Oh, and we've got Lee Nerdy Geezer on there as well. How would I forget Lee? He's going to beat me up one day, I swear. He's a bit of a unit. Anyway, guys, let's dive into these hit squads so I can show you what we've been buying. I'm going to start off with this one. These are all dupes, so you've seen all these ones before, but I just want to show you what I've got in the bundle. And we've got the Empire Strikes Back. These are all Spectrum games. So I've pretty much found that the Spectrum is possibly the hardest one to collect for. Obviously, we completed the Commodore 64 set. The Amstrad is just... The Amstrad games don't come up very often. But when they do, they don't command as much of a high price as what the Spectrum ones do. Then we move on to another classic. We've got Red Heat here. Red Heat, you kind of only see the gameplay from halfway up the body. The Spectrum version doesn't look too bad. The Commodore 64 version I have played. I don't particularly like it, if I'm being quite honest. But it's not an exceptionally expensive game to pick up. Next to one of my favourite Spectrum games of all time. This was a favourite Commodore 64 game of mine as well. And you know what? I quite enjoy it on the Amstrad as well. The film, of course, is awesome. Reminds me of some great times. I actually got my nana to rent this movie out for me. And that is Robocop. Although at the time she did call it Robot Cop. But you know what? I wasn't too fussed. Great film, absolutely fantastic conversion on the Spectrum. Yeah, really enjoyed this game, and yeah, really enjoy the film as well. I wouldn't mind the big box version with the poster. I did see one down in Blackpool at the Gaming Expo there at the Norbert Castle. It was absolutely fantastic to meet up with some other YouTubers and see some of the guys who watched the channel as well. I had this very t-shirt on, and I'd already made these purchases at the time, but I had to keep stum. And there was a few hit squads there, but not a huge amount, and certainly nothing that I needed to add to the collection because we haven't got many to go. Next, guys, we move on to probably one of the most underrated hit squad games I always find. And that is SDI. SDI is a cracking little game. As you can see from the screenshots on the back, not too shabby at all there. Yeah, this is a game I definitely enjoyed in the Commodore 64, and I have now played the Spectrum version, and I can confirm it's great. Like, I genuinely thought it was a nice little game. One I didn't enjoy so much back in the day was Afterburner. But when you think what they were trying to do with I mean, come on, the cab. Everyone remembers the Afterburner cab and like just how awesome it was. Oh man, I remember. Do you know what? I think it might have been down in Blackpool when I was a kid. Down the arcades there, where I played in the Afterburner cab. And yeah, when I got home, you know, you're looking at the screenshots on the back of the box. And hoping that the one with the best screenshots is yours. Then you realise that they're not really in-game screenshots whatsoever. And yeah, and then we had Afterburner. It's not bad, you know. It's a passable game, but I just think, you know, from when you played it as a kid and you're expecting something like that on your 8-bit micro back home, it's never going to work. So then we move on to another movie title. Well, it's classed as a movie title, but I remember it more of a TV show, although there is a movie out for it now. And that is Miami Vice. Miami Vice, I mean, can you get more 80s than Miami Vice? Seriously. Only problem for me is when you start playing this game, if you ever figure out how to start up your car, which took me an absolute age. In fact, I think it was my good friend Jim, Super Jim Tendo, who had to tell me how to start the car up on the game. It does put you through some sort of like epileptic fit inducing flashing screen that, yeah, it's an absolute shocker. It really is. The game I found not particularly great. Yeah, it's one that I didn't really enjoy playing recently. However, this one I did. I thought this was a cracking little game, and that's James Bond License to Kill. James Bond License to Kill, of course, was Timothy Dalton's second outing as James Bond. I think it hit the headlines because it was, I think, was it the first ever 15, or was it possibly an 18? And then it got reduced down to a 15 or a 12, or maybe even a PG back in the day. It might have been before 12 even existed. But yeah, Timothy Dalton, quite a forgettable film for me, to be quite honest. However, I do think that the game isn't too bad. Certainly could have been a lot worse. I've only ever played the Commodore 64 version. And last but not least, this is the last of the bulk buy I got from Tim. I said I'd give a quick hello to Tim because yeah, I had a good chat with him on the eBay messaging. Really nice guy, really helpful. And of course, if you haven't seen Dave Birdsall's video yet, where he finally finally managed to get his hands on Darkman. It's the same guy who sold the game to him, but he got his delivered by hand. Obviously, I don't expect that living up in Inverness. But yeah, as I'm saying, this is Mikey again on the Spectrum. Not a game I've played a great deal, but can be a little bit tricky. Konami game originally to pick up. Something to do with being at school, I think it was. Or as I say, I think I played it very, very briefly on the Commodore 64, but it didn't last too long. So, guys, those are the doubles out of the ones that I managed to get for the Spectrum. But there was one that caught my eye, and it is a game that I do already have, and that one will be going up for sale as well. Yeah, I just wanted a bit of an upgrade really, because the one I've got had a bit of a tear and it wasn't fantastic. I bought it for this, and this is WWF Wrestlemania. Of course, back before it was WWE. This version, yeah, I'm not sure it could be classed as a classic. I think I did play it back in the day, but I played it on the Amiga, so never played it on the Commodore 64. But I'm really very happy to add this to the collection. It's a lot better than the one that I've currently got there. But that one will be going up for sale. So that was the first part of the Spectrum games that I picked up. The second part is well, these ones are just I can't believe that I finally own these. Guy called Paul on eBay had them for sale. Spotted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games, 8 games I would have liked. However, financial restraint, etc., meant that I was really happy to pick up 3 of them. But I think I got possibly the best 3 of the games that were available. The first one that I'm going to show you, that concludes the mini set. So I've got this game across all the platforms it's available for on the Hit Squad, and it's a game I've grown to love, guys, and this is Clacks. Now, when I first saw Clacks, it wasn't really, I just thought, oh, it's another kind of Tetris clone, and yeah, it just wasn't really my sort of thing. But you know what, I've come to play it a little bit more and a little bit more, and I can actually say that it's possibly in my top 10 of Hit Squad games these days. Really do enjoy this. And guys, I mean, you can see by the quality there, it's an absolutely pristine condition, and this can be a bit of a challenge to get on the Spectrum. A little bit easier on the Commodore 64, and it wasn't too bad to find on the Amstrad, but absolutely buzzing to add this to the collection, guys, which takes us another step closer to the full set. The next game, always hear this being described as a game that should never have been attempted to put onto the 8-bit micros, and I tend to agree. I did play the arcade version a couple of days ago for the first time, and do you know what? It wasn't a bad little game, and now I can appreciate why people say that maybe there shouldn't have been an 8-bit attempt made on it. That game, guys, is Stun Runner. Stun Runner on the Spectrum. As you can see there, that is number, is it 54? Number 54, Stun Runner. I have played it on the Commodore 64. I didn't think it was that bad, really. Never played it on the Spectrum yet. Never played it on the Amstrad yet. But since playing it on the arcade, I can understand why people were so disappointed. So that brings us to the last game in the collection that I bought. This one I've seen go for absolute mega bucks. I really have. So when Paul agreed to sell them as a bundle and knock a fair bit off, it was the original asking price. I would probably class this as one of the hardest ones to get on the Spectrum. Not the hardest, but certainly I would say in the top 3. So again, I don't think I've got this one on the Amstrad. I'll have to double check on that because yeah, the Amstrad ones have been quite difficult to pick up. But yeah, I remember this film coming out as a kid, and I remember the MC Hammer music to it. Yeah, it wasn't a bad film. Gaming wise, well, what can I say? I played it on the SNES. It was donated to the channel by Super Jim Tendo as well. So yeah, I don't think it's a game he enjoyed. I didn't think it was too bad. Played it on the Commodore 64, and it's your typical ocean movie tie-in kind of platformer. Mustn't have sold too great back in the day because these things are really hard to find now. And that is the Addams Family on the Spectrum. This is movie number 30. And there we go, guys. It's finally here. Finally added to the collection. The Commodore 16, the MSX, the Atari 800. What else is there up there? The BBC Micro. All the mini sets are complete. The Commodore 64 set is complete. And I think I've got about 8 or 9 left on the Amstrad. And I think about the same on the Spectrum. I will put in the description below the games that I'm still requiring. Guys, I could really do with your help. To be fair, I'm not expecting to get any more this year. I'm more than happy with how this year's went with the hit squad collecting. Obviously, I wish it could be more, but you know what? It takes some time to save up for these. So yeah, it's definitely going to be still a very long-term project. But I've enjoyed watching everyone else's hit squad collections come together as well. It's great to see people starting to collect for the Commodore 64, for the Spectrum, for the Amstrad, and people who are going for the full set. Yeah, it's great to see them ones coming on too. A couple of people have sold the collections recently as well. I've had to get mine insured for a little bit more than what I thought was originally worth due to that. You know, just in case. Mark Fixes Stuff, a channel, a really good channel that I watch. He had a fire and he's lost everything, guys. I did put a link up to maybe donate a couple of quid to him, but I think he's doing okay. Mentally, he's sounds like he's doing all right, and the main thing was his family was okay. And at the end of the day, guys, real life is what matters most. So I hope you've enjoyed looking through what I've managed to pick up for the Spectrum recently, and this really does help towards getting there towards the final collection complete. And yeah, that's it for this episode. As ever, guys, quiz is ongoing. We've got the Champion of Champions coming up soon. Then we have the final quiz of the year, which will be up against Larry Bundy. So my champion, I'll be putting forward to face him. I'll be looking forward to find out who that is. And I'll be really looking forward to hosting Larry Bundy on the channel. A guy that I've got a lot of admiration for, with a fantastic channel. And of course, this Sunday is Halloween. And you can see me and my friends on the Swap Shop this Sunday. Hope to see you there, where some of these games will be available. So until next time, guys, stay safe. Don't let any of the monsters get you. Happy Halloween and goodbye.